Hello. Ahoy! This is Dan Reynolds. I'm going to attempt to answer someone's question about programming with an old school library like Symphonic Orchestra. This is coming from Garrett Graves. I wonder if his last name really is Graves. Okay, so the first thing you have to know about Symphonic Orchestra is that it's like 7 or 8 years old. It was conceived and produced in a time when scripted legato was barely on the tips of anyone's tongues. I mean, this was a time when you could call it the Dark Ages. Not like, 8th century Europe, but maybe 12th, 13th century Europe, pre-Renaissance, pre-scripting Renaissance. And what it is back then, the way that everyone worked with sample libraries was just to take samples of as many different kinds of dynamic performances so that you could stitch together a unique, singular performance out of many different sounds. So here I have the old school contact version of Symphonic Orchestra Gold, which I purchased in 2006, right? Over 6 years ago now. So let's grab Les Violines. So if you open up these guys, man, they separate the patches into a few different. They still do this, in fact, with the play update. There's most of what you see here is still there. So you have longs, shorts, effects, and crossfade patches and key switches. The key switches, really, I stay away from. I'm not a big fan of key switches. That's because I'm kind of not a big fan of performing the shit by myself. So I don't really perform. I don't like performing. I'm like a super anal click kind of guy. So most of the time, I don't even go into the longs. I mean, there's some good stuff in here. Some stuff you just can't do without. Like the tremolos are in here. Any sort of the slow dynamic or slow attack stuff. These lyrical patches, that's good stuff. But the crossfade, the mod X-fade patches, and they really couldn't figure out if XFD or DXF was going to be there. It's totally interswitchable. Crossfade or dynamic crossfade. Basically, these are the patches where you're going to get a lot of your work done. Because these allow you to control, usually allow you to control the dynamic level by modulating the dynamics of the patch with some sort of continuous controller. So let me load up, say, like Emotion DXF2. I've got to search my file system. Old school. Did I move it? Maybe I moved it. I might have moved it. This is the right spot, guys. Come on. You can do it. What are you looking for? Come on, dude. The base. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so with the DXF patch, I can control. Sorry, I gotta move my microphone here. Okay, I can control the dynamics with my mod wheel. So, even though I'm just performing this in and it's totally like ghetto, the idea is to give yourself phrasing. Wherever you can squeeze it in. So, you know, I know that they have a basic legato script that shipped with Play, and it's okay. You know, it's a decent meat and potatoes script. Obviously, you're gonna have to pair it with a reverb, and when you turn it on, it automatically activates their convolution reverbs, which are good reverbs. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you have to be careful because if you start loading the legato script on a bunch of patches without paying attention, you can accidentally load a bunch of convo reverbs on their system, and that stuff already runs at a fairly taxing cost. So you kind of have to watch out for that one. The other one that you'll see sometimes is like you'll see accents that are paired with velocity response. Let's see. Light upside down. Already know. No, I'm not seeing any. I guess you're not gonna see any in the 18 violins. That's okay. What was I? Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. So the question was, how do you stitch this stuff together? Well, that's why these guys back in the day were the guys that made the big bucks. You know, you might grab a slow. Let's see. I think the lyrical one's kind of I really do need to batch save these guys. Okay. So you might just use that at the beginning of your phrase, and then use a bunch of other stuff at in the middle of your phrase. This one doesn't really connect very well, so it might work well at the beginning of a phrase, and then maybe use something. Just search the system. Oh my! I totally did move these. Apologize for the wackiness. I don't know why it's not finding him. Like, this. Actually, I don't like this one at all. You get no sense of. Maybe at the lower velocities, you get a nice expression. But the higher velocities, so what I like to do when I'm working with this old school method, and I don't really work with this old school method anymore, but when I did, and when I still have to for whatever reason, is I like to find a good basic sustain patch that's gonna let me sketch out my my idea. So I think I'm just gonna write a quick line that's representative of what Garrett is kind of looking for, and let's just lay down a couple bars. I am totally gonna go ghetto and click this in. I mean, that's not ghetto to me, but I think it's ghetto for a lot of other people. I don't want to do that cheesy cadence thing. Okay, this probably sounds pretty bad, but it might be good enough. Let's see. I don't really have enough context to pull off that kind of modulation. This might be really bad. Oh, we'll see. It's terrible. But you know what? I'm gonna go with it. Because it doesn't matter. We're just gonna use it as an example. So I'm gonna use this as like my bass, like what it's supposed to sound like melodically, but not production-wise. And then I'm gonna, I'm gonna be totally wasteful here. I'm not. Ideally, you would load a rack instrument instead of a bunch of instrument tracks. But I'm not really worried about that right now. Let's see. Okay, so I want something with like a nice biting attack. Well, this Butter Legato Forte might have something for me. So I'll just give that a shot. You can tell I never use this stuff anymore. So that's got a nice, I mean, it's forte, which is pretty good. But you know what? At the beginning, I really want that sort of biting attack. So let's try this expression fast. I just want to, it's been a while since I've heard of this. Try this out and see what that's like. So that one's got more like a softer attack. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go a little romantic here. Let's start out with lyrical. Actually, let's just hear lyrical fast real quick. That might be. That's not bad. Let's do that one for the first note. And that's just the first note. I'm gonna get a little ghetto here and pull this down. So that's the first note. Then I want with something else for the other notes, right? Well, I could try to go super cheesy. I know that there's a slide up effect. Is it in here? slur. I think. Let's see what the fast one. I think this is up. I think they go up. Hopefully they go up. They sort of go up. Let's try that one just for the next note. Okay, so let's mute this. So now I'm connecting them, right? I'm faking a legato here. So now the rest of this. Actually, let me just mute. I'll do it that way. That's the better way to go. Okay, so I got this. Actually, I did want, I did want to like it. Yeah, let's do something like that. So, dun, dun, dun. Let's do shorts for these three. Okay? Let's do that. This. Okay. Bam. Let's do... I think I'm going to do 2 shorts. I'm going to do like a longer short and then a shorter short. So I'm going to check out the shorts and see what I got. These aren't marcato, so they're not like, they're not really accented. So I want a maybe quick... I definitely want to use round robins. I might do something like... Maybe I'll start with this guy and see where that goes. The quick up-down marcato. Actually, I don't want to do marcato. I'm being picky here. I think we only got marcatos. Okay, I'll pick it. I'll do this one. Sorry about this whole browsing for folder shit. Okay, so it's nice sounding. I mean, look, the thing about this, it may be old school, but beautifully engineered. Like, you can just load up, especially the close patches. Oh, man, I don't have the gold at home, but where I work, we have the Platinum Plus, blah, 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 Super Deluxe Division. And it's just gorgeous. I mean, that's where you get Dennis Sands and all the wonderful assistants and the people that actually were involved in the sampling session. Really great work. You'll notice that there's a lot of, in my opinion, I mean, people argue with me, but in my opinion, there's a lot of air missing from these samples, and that's because you have to take out some air. You gotta take it a little bit out. It's a big, huge hall. And adding a bunch of instruments, playing all together in the same recording space is gonna stack some air, but there's some beautiful samples in this library. So I'm going to go with this one for starters, and we'll see if I have to go super short for that really short note, that 16th note. So I'm going to... How am I going to get this over for us? I'm going to do something like this. And then delete the rest of it, because I don't think the rest of them will be short. Okay. And these are going to be... I'm going to have much lower velocity on these ones. I might need this longer, actually. It sounds like I might need this longer. Let's see how that sounds. And I'm going to... I'll mute this for now. I'm gonna need a longer one, so let's duplicate this bad boy. And go with one of the marcatos. Ooh, let's see, we got a long... I don't mind the shorts for the other ones. Let's try this. Let's try this one. One of the things when you own a library, it's a little harsh. One of the things that you got to get is when you buy a sample library, you got to explore the shit out of that thing, man. You have to know it front to back and sideways, because That's the only way you're going to be effective with it. If you know which patch to go to right away whenever you're like, oh, I need this sound, you just imagine it, and then you go straight to that sound. That's what you need to know. You need to know every nook and cranny of your library, and it takes time to get used to it. You know, I'm kind of rusty. I mean, I used the shit out of this library for years, and I'm really rusty now because I don't really use it that much. No offense to East West, there's just a lot of really competitive libraries out right now. Okay, so I'm actually going to go for a longer. Maybe I haven't used that let's use the Express Fast. Let's try that out. I'm going to use this for a short. It might be a little crazy. I might be like, what, crazy man. But it might work out nice. So I'm going to try that one for the longer short. And I'm really just going to mute this one because I'm not totally confident in getting rid of it. And then these ones I really don't care about. So, but I do want to... Well, that's actually really sweet sounding. Let's see. That's coming together. So, la 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 la. So let's mute these. I guess I can't like select mute. Oh, okay. La 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 la. So what do we got? The lamest ending ever. La 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 la. So I think I might be able to go back and use this one. This is what my lyric. Let's try that. You don't want to like when you have a really distinct attack on a sample, you want to avoid using it over and over again. You want to change it up. You want to use something else. That's why they recorded so many different types of attacks, because back then you really didn't have a lot of fine control over your attacks. There weren't like really great scripts for stitching all of that together. It was just really up to you to figure that part out. So let's try that and see how that sounds. Let me mute this guy. You know what? I don't like it. But what might work, actually, is going back to the expression here. Yeah, just take the velocity down to match. You really try to get a phrase out of it. Okay, so that's a start, and then let's see if we can get something for these guys. I think I'm going to. I need. Oops. I think I need these guys to. La la la. So I want something that kind of goes up. And then is short, so maybe I'll just reuse my shorts for this middle one. Or this is pretty short. Or maybe I'll use this one for the middle one. Like that, okay. I think I will. And then for this one, I gotta use something else. Oh, maybe I'll use my lyric again. Now, this is what I wanted to do first. So we'll do this. And then let's do 1-0. These. Let's go. Well, let's just see how that sounds. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can get away with my slur. Haha, let's try that one. Which one was that one? I think the second one? That might be a little bad, but let's try that one. Okay, let's see what that sounds. Maybe take the velocity down on this one. Really, what we need at the end is like a diminuendo. So maybe it would be worth finding a diminuendo. Where in your endo? In diminuendo. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. What's we got? The effects record. That's not really gonna help us. I could use one of these dynamic crossfades, guys. I did recommend using them at the beginning, but then I did the whole thing without them. I actually don't want to use them. I want one that has a nice slow out. This one. Let's see what that one's like. It's been a while, so you're gonna have to give me a break. It's nothing like what I'm looking for. Well, maybe the lyric. No, I used that one there. No, I don't use that one again. Okay, fine, I'll use a crossfade. The only thing that you gotta be careful of with the crossfades, as much as I totally encourage you to use them, is that sometimes when you're crossfading and you're in between the different dynamic layers, like you kind of hear both of them at the same time, there's like this moment where it sounds like the orchestra's a lot bigger than what it is, which is totally cool. Like, it's a great effect when you're looking for a real lush orchestra, but when you're doing a single line like what we're doing right now, it kind of pops out and looks a little odd. We'll try this one again. I want to see what we can do with it. It's nice. It's a nice sound. So we'll do that one, and we'll throw down a little. Let's take snap off. Let's see how that sounds. Alright, it's alright. The ending is super lame, but you know, whatever. The only thing I want to do is here is just stretch this. I guess I can't do that, can I? Oh well, fine, be that way. Kubase. I want to start a little bit more, and then swell, and then diminish out. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so it should end here. Sorry. Bama! And we don't need to go all the way down, but mostly down would be a-okay with me. Clean that up. Okay, not bad. You can hear right around here. You can hear the sort of phase between the two dynamic layers, but put that in in context with the whole orchestra playing, and you probably wouldn't even notice it. So there you go. That's how. And I don't even need this now. This top one. That is how old school libraries like Symphonic Orchestra work. And there's a lot of great libraries like Symphonic Orchestra out there still being sold. So it's you know, it's a beautiful library. You can do a lot with it. A lot of really professional, top-notch work has been done with it, and there's no reason why you can't do amazing things with it. You know, you just got to really work with it. You got to know the library. You have to learn everything, every patch. You really want to learn every patch, how it all works, how it responds to continuous controller input from, say, the mod wheel and expression and all that sort of stuff. You really want to know that. And then when you do know that, then it becomes really easy. You just have to imagine, oh, how do I do this? And then you break it down into little pieces, note by note. You go, okay, that note I want to sound like this. And then you're like, oh, I would use that patch. You know, I use this X patch, and then I'd use this other patch over here for the next notes. And that's how it works. And I have a library, I have a guitar library that is it's ridiculously sampled. And when I want to use that library for like a solo guitar, I've used like 10 patches before. You know, it's a lot of work, but you can come up with some really cool stuff. All right, this is Dan signing out. Peace, yo, and stuff. Cheers.